explore division, and we're going to start off kind of slow. So I decided to pick a kind of a relatively small divisor, so it's a thing doing the dividing. And then this is called our dividend, and I remember that word because it's like the end of when we write it in this form. So that's the one like doing the action, like he's dividing, he's the divisor. And then this is our dividend, which is at the end of this. And that's just a vocab thing that comes up so that kids can put a name to different elements of this piece. And the answer we get, and I always remember it this way, it's really hard to get a division answer, right? And it's also really hard to spell the word quotient. So the answer we're going to come up with is also called our quotient. Okay. So the setup of this is we're looking at how many groups of 2 go into 5403. That's a big question to ask. And maybe somewhere to start is kind of like a left to right sort of method. So how many groups of 2 are in this? We can think of it as a 5, but really what's going on is it's a 5,000. So we're going to look at 5,000 first. And we're just going to have to keep track of everything by lining it up in the right place as we go. So let's draw that with dots and boxes also, so we can kind of see what's going on. I finally got thicker pens, so hopefully this helps with things. Alright, the colors are nice too though, so I'll use those for dots, I guess. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. 1, 2, 3. And how many groups of 2 are in there? Alright, so maybe we need to look at how many groups of 2 are in this thousands place. And I can identify 1, 2 groups of 2 with 1 left over. So I found 2 things here. And I don't really know how to describe how many 2's are there. So the best thing I can do is just move him over. And remember, we're in base 10, so this 1 dot corresponds to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dots in the next place over. And then what that looks like here is how many groups of 2 are in 5. Well, we were able to identify 2. I have 2 circles. And that accounted for 4 of them. What was I not able to circle? 5 take off 4 is 1. And then it wasn't helpful for me to think of it as just 1, so I moved it to the next place, and then when I'm considering the next box, this is me considering the next box when I draw the arrow down. Now I'm looking at 14. This 1 became a 10, essentially, because we're talking about the next place over. And now when I identify how many 2's are there, I'm going to put it in the hundreds place this time, because I'm really finding out how many groups of 2 are in 400, and there's going to be 200 or however many of them. So the first thing I did was I found out how many groups of 2 were in 5,000. There's 2,000 of them that I've identified and at least come up with so far, and I'm just going to work my way down to identify all of them. So as far as how many thousands I can find in this number, I can find 2,000 2's, and now I'm going to work out how many hundreds of 2's I'll find. Okay, so I'm in the hundreds place, and I'm looking at how many hundreds of 2's I can find. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I was able to circle 7 groups of 2, and that makes sense. So 7 times 2 makes 14. And this time I have no remainder. And now I'm going to look to the next box. So I draw my arrow down. I'm looking over here now. There's nothing to find, right? So I don't see anything. There's nothing there. I can't identify any groups of 2. That's important though, because then it really brings value to this 2 and the 7. It's a placeholder. It's making sure these are in the correct spot. So how many groups of 2 can I identify that are groups of 10? None. 0 times 2 is 0. So I didn't find anything that time. That's okay. So I have nothing moving over to the next place. And then now I'm going to look to the next box, right? So I draw my arrow down. 3. How many groups of 2 are in 3? I can also look at it here. How many groups of 2 are there? 1. I can identify 1 group of 2, which takes care of 2 of them. And what's left behind, I'm going to draw a really tiny tick for 1 down there. So it's remainder 1. So this answer can be written 2 ways. 2701, remainder 1. That's how we start out when kids are first learning division. But if you look, I really wish I could have made another circle. How much progress did I make? I had 1 out of how many would I have needed to get a full circle? 2. And that makes sense. I was halfway there to getting like another full count of 2. So another way to consider that remainder is 2 and 7, and then the remainder over the divisor. So I had 1 out of the 2 I would have needed to get another group of 2. And that is our first example of a smaller number. In your discussion groups, I'll write this in the description as well, try to have your divisor be 2 or 3 and use a 4-digit number and do a similar layout of this schematic. All right, thank you.